is my resident, but I don't care about the team. I care about Manchester United. I care about Real Madrid. If you're not speaking about them two teams, don't bring me into it.
And also sometimes Chelsea, yeah. All right, Tuesday we have Al Hilal taking on Al Ittihad, and in the Carabao Cup, it's Arsenal versus Newcastle. Wednesday, we have Tottenham taking on Liverpool. Some tasty ones here, guys. We also have Real Madrid taking on Mallorca in the Spanish Super Cup. We have Melbourne versus Western United, Al Ahly versus Al Shabab. Friday is our La Liga match with Rayo Vallecano taking on Celta. And we also have Perth Glory taking on Auckland, Al Aroba and Al Hilal, and Borussia Mönchengladbach taking on Bayern Munich as the Bundesliga returns. Saturday, it's our Serie A match of the week where we have Venezia taking on Inter Milan. Will they be the Supercoppa Italian champs? Let's find out, because that game is happening right now as we speak. And in the Spanish Super Cup final, it's to be decided. The winners of either Barcelona and Athletic Bilbao, and Real Madrid versus Mallorca. So lots and lots of football. As I said, Inter Milan are taking on Milan right now in the final of the Italian Supercoppa, and Real Madrid are well underway against Mineiro. But it's 3-0 as it stands, so not looking too good for them. But let me also introduce to you and wish a very happy new year to the one, the only, the other one and only. I said that and I realized.
Yeah. No, you can't be.
Oh, actually, I just found out that they're not here yet. So we'll keep you guys posted for that.
No, it's only because God knows that that's the only one and only has been announced, right?
Fair.
So you need to give some kind of announcement
Fine.
to the other one.
Fine,
okay?
That's fair. All right, guys, here's what's coming up on today's show then.
The Sporty Show is back. We all hope that you had a wonderful festive period. And what better place to start off than with the Premier League and yesterday's Liverpool-Manchester United game that ended 2-2. The January transfer window is open as we update you on the juiciest transfer news from around Europe. And we also bring you all the latest from the ongoing Real Madrid and Milan derby games.
Yes, a lot to discuss, guys. Shall we start with what Alex wanted to get into? Well, first, as a friendly reminder, yes, we have QPR versus Luton right after the show, but we'll keep you guys posted on the Milan derby, Real Madrid. And also, Wolves are taking on Forest. Fun fact about that one, Raul Jimenez has taken over as the highest Mexican goal scorer in the Premier League, surpassing Chicharito.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Who would have thought? All right, let's get to it. Clinton, you can't avoid it any longer. Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2. What a game we had at Anfield, guys. I think there's a lot to break down here. I don't know where you guys want to start. Is there something that stands out to you in this one, Clinton? Because I'm sure we'll get to all the points, but I have several things I'd like to bring up. But where do you want to start in this one?
Well, first of all, I think I would say that I'm very proud of Manchester United for at least having a draw in literally at Anfield. Okay, this is the den of the best. And they've gone there, they've put up a game, they've put up a show. They've come out to the draw. Like you said, we're going to go into the details proper because obviously there's so much to speak about regarding that game. I didn't watch the game. I was on a flight, obviously coming into Madrid. And yeah, when I came down and I went on Twitter, I was looking at everything people said about the game. And I was like, okay, I think I'm kind of proud of my team though, because I was expecting to go check live score, just to see maybe 4-2 or 4-1 or them kind of crazy score lines, and I saw 2-2, and then I went to the scoreboard to see who had scored, and I saw my boy Amad Diallo, and he just gave me that joy, knowing that he scored the equalizing goal. That was just what made it for me. That was what made me happy, you know. So I don't know what section you want me to get into the game, but overall, I think I'm happy with the results. It's a whole 1 point from Liverpool.
And I don't blame you, because I think if you are a Liverpool fan, if you are on slot, if you are a player for Liverpool, this is a loss, Alex. This is a loss for Liverpool. This is at Anfield. They're obviously top of the table. They've been brilliant this season. But I was speaking to you about this, and I know Clinton said he wasn't able to watch the game because he was flying back here, but I watched the full match, and I'm not sure if it was a matter of Manchester United being good or Liverpool being really bad.
Yeah, I think when you look at both sides' performances, and I know Amorim said that he wasn't happy, and I think, we talked about the inconsistency that they play so well against Liverpool, but then they go up against with all due respect, an Ipswich town, and they play like they've never been playing together, and they haven't had that time on the training ground together. And I think when you look at the performance from Liverpool, it did look a bit. There was something wrong. You look at perhaps Trent, his performance, he was, I think, short of the mark. You look at Virgil van Dijk, you could perhaps put him at fault for one of the goals. You could definitely tell the absence of Dominic Szoboszlai. I think in that midfield, United seemed to control the ball very well, and I think we're slowly starting to see signs of something good coming together at Manchester United. But as Amorim said, it's still a long way to go. They've got to play like that every week. They can't play like that one week and then play, 4 weeks later like that. They have to do that week in, week out. So I think definitely 2 points drop for Liverpool. They're still 6 points ahead of Arsenal. Arsenal have a game in hand, but Forest could go level on points with them tonight. So I think a lot of things to work on for Liverpool if they're going to continue on this run and win the title.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned some players, Trent, Van Dijk. I thought Luis Diaz was completely unnoticeable in this game. Ibrahima Konate looked injured still. Mo Salah they shut him down pretty well, I will say. I'll give United. But I still think that this was more a poor performance from Liverpool than a good performance from United. If I'm looking at the players that played well for United, Amad Diallo, but this isn't a shock. We talk about him week in and week out, right, Clinton? Mm-hmm. I will give Andre Onana, had a great game. Save them. Kobe Mainoo, fine. The rest of them?
What about Bruno Fernandes? I was told that he was pretty much good in the game.
I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah,
I did. Brilliant? Your standards are very different than mine, my friend. Because brilliant, I don't think so. I don't think he was bad, but I don't think he was brilliant. I think fine, we can throw him in there, but Diego Dallo, even though Lisandro Martinez scored, defending.
What about Garnacho? I mean, like I said, I didn't watch the game. I'm just because
Garnacho came on with about 20 minutes to go.
Which is a lot of time to me for you to do something. And I mean, he gave an assist.
He wasn't right. I didn't think he.
Yeah, but then he gave an assist though. That gave us an equalizer.
But the thing is, I think that's what I'm saying. I think the assist that he gave was a mistake from the Liverpool defense, because what they were able to do really well, Manchester United, everything went down the wing of Trent Alexander-Arnold. This was the game plan, and to be fair, they executed it.
So basically, they saw a weakness and they took the opportunity to bank on the weakness. Is that what you're saying? Like for Manchester United?
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily... I mean, in fairness to maybe Amorim, that was a great decision because everything went through Trent. But, okay, well, let's take this and now get into Trent's performance, because, Alex, you kind of hinted on it, but this was very poor from Trent.
Yeah, I think you look at... I think it was United uploaded a video on their social media for one of the goals, I think it was, or perhaps just an attacking play. And you could see Trent's movement. It felt lackluster. It felt lethargical. You could see Van Dijk getting quite irate with him after the equaliser that Amad Diallo scored. And, I think when you look at... We know Trent's a fantastic player. He's got the ability going forward. Defensively, sometimes we've had those doubts, but he's always held his own against, the best players in the world. And, when Conor Bradley came on, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but from a Liverpool point of view, I felt a lot more secure. And it almost felt like that right-hand side was locked down. And Conor Bradley, he does a brilliant job whenever he comes on. We saw what he did against Real Madrid. And, it was a bad day at the office for Trent. I don't think, it's panic stations yet, but, a worrying performance, I think, not just from him, but from Van Dijk, from a few other players.
Street Fighter here. Happy New Year, Street Fighter, by the way. He says, Liverpool fans should not take this seriously. They're still 5 points on top with the game in hand. But, Clinton, if you're Liverpool, with the way that they've been performing, the best team in Europe, and this is Anfield, and this is their biggest rivals, and their biggest rivals happen to not be doing so well this season, I think they should be taking this seriously. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, the fact is, I know people might see 5 points as is a lot. To me, 5 points is not really a lot.
That's 2 games.
That's literally no, that's 1 game and and
it's a game and a half.
And a half. So I feel like slowly, Liverpool might be one of those teams that will be trying to contest for that title race with a whole bunch of other teams, like maybe Manchester City, whom we have seen recently have not really been the best, but they won their last game convincingly. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to continue with that trail of messing up. But fact is, I think Manchester did put up a fight, right? I'm not going to say because they've played against a team who supposedly are meant to be the best in Europe and they've put up that kind of performance, then means this best team, they were just weak. No. I've always known Manchester United to be that kind of team, that they might lose to Bournemouth, they might lose to Ipswich, they might lose to Crystal Palace. But when it comes to facing teams like Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, listen, I don't know, people need to start understanding is that something changes. What's happening at this point is you are not underestimating anything. You're going in there because of the fact that you know whom you're going to face. And when they get there, they are putting up the fight with the armor of these people they are facing. Now, when they go face teams like Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and all these other teams, whom I believe they are good. However, when it comes to how we see them on paper, right, they are not that team that we will classify them as, like, say, Manchester City and Liverpool. So what happens in Manchester United at this point is they underestimate them. They go into the game and all of a sudden they are outclassed. That's what happens. But when they see Liverpool, they see Manchester United, City, they see Arsenal, they know that these people on paper, they're as good as us. These people are people whom that, they've carried the Premier League for a long time. So we are not going there to become the average Manchester United that we know. So it doesn't mean that Liverpool, they were poor. No, it was just a Manchester United that stepped up their game because of the people they are facing. Manchester United could have easily. Are you telling me now that the point where Manchester United won City, Amad Diallo scored the winning goal, are you going to say City? Yeah, we understand City have been poor. But over time, in the past, Manchester United have gone and they've beaten City. It's not because City have been poor. It's only because Manchester know whom they are facing. It's a bit like when you bring somebody who is my age or somebody who is the same height as me, and you tell me, Clinton, you are going to fight this guy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at this person and be like, all right, cool, I need to go train. I need to go work out because this guy, he pretty much has equal strength as me. But if you bring me, say, for example, Acho. Right, sorry.
Stop.
Right.
That was offside.
Right. Okay. If you bring me Guillaume, right, okay, all right, okay. I think these are not good examples, right? Let me not use people that I work with, right?
Sandro Martinez.
No, come on. Do you not see that guy looks like who goes to the gym 3 times a day? Like, wait. There are people you bring for me. I feel like I don't need to train. I just need to come beat you without knowing that these people, in the first 2 minutes of that fight, they could literally just lift me up and throw me on the ground. And I'll be like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? This is what I think happens with Manchester United.
That's what's so frustrating, though, isn't it? And that's what Amarim said, the fact that they play so well against, Liverpool, they play so well against Manchester City, but then when it comes to, the Ipswiches, the Brentfords, the Brightons, the lesser teams, with all due respect to those teams, the lesser teams in the Premier League, they're nowhere near the level that they play like they did last night at Anfield. And I think that's probably what's so frustrating, not just for the players and for the manager, but for the fans, to see how well they can do and then not being able to replicate that week in, week out. And that's what separates them from being a really good side and being just above average side, because they play like that once every 4 weeks.
Yeah. I want to ask you both a question, but just a quick update here. Real Madrid have gone 4 ahead with Luka Modric scoring a goal as well. My question to you guys is, it's past the holidays. We did our Premier League predictions ages ago, back in August. Now, as it stands, obviously Liverpool are top of the table, 46 points, but a game in hand. Arsenal in second with 40 points, Forest in third, 37, and then Chelsea in fourth with 36 points. My question to you guys is, do you still think that Liverpool are going to win the Prem? And what do you expect of, maybe an Arsenal, a Chelsea, a City? Is this still Liverpool's league this year?
This is going to sound like a balmy thing to say, but I think there are only 2 contenders for the title this year, and that's Liverpool and Manchester City. I don't think Arsenal are good enough to win the title. Forest, you would be very surprised. Chelsea, I've said it, since day one, I don't think they're good enough to win the title. Man City, I'm not counting them out until they're mathematically out of the title race. And, who knows, they could bring someone in January and he could do wonders for the squad. So, yeah, I think it's Liverpool's title to lose, but Man City are the second favourites for me.
Clinton?
For me, I think that 4 teams handed title race easy. I don't see anything special that happens with Liverpool and Manchester City. that these other two teams I'm going to mention are not capable of pulling out, right? Chelsea, Arsenal, they are there. Facts for me. Nottingham Forest, I feel like they are just the dark horses in this whole competition. And for me, I'm just very proud of them. I can't believe this is Nottingham Forest. Like, this is a typical situation of no be juju be that. Like, how do you, like, what are you doing there? Like, even when you see the name Nottingham Forest in 3 or 4, you're like, wait, hang on. It doesn't even make sense. Like, it's not, like, there are names that you see there, you know, it's only, like, if you see a Manchester City, you see an Arsenal, you see Chelsea, Manchester United even, you know, you'll be like, okay, this is normal. Like, this is what they will go there, they will come out. But Nottingham Forest, bro, you belong to the Forest, man. Like, you should be there. Like, it doesn't mathematically, it doesn't make sense. Now, do I see them getting to a point of winning anything? Definitely not. I think there's still a long way to go. There's still a whole between now and May, you know, to prove which team would be clinching this really serious title. But Manchester City definitely still there. Arsenal there. Liverpool, they're almost like a fraud team to me. Sometimes they are there. Sometimes, even if they win, I feel like there's still nothing special that happens.
So sorry, can I just confirm that you both are saying that there are doubts about Liverpool, like and we're all still considering that Manchester City is a threat?
Yeah.
I just want to leave that, because if you think about that, that is a bit crazy, considering the downfall City have had, and considering that Liverpool have been relatively convincing.
Yeah, I think for me, it's when you look at more the off the field stuff, and you know, there's reports. I don't want to give them any truth because I don't know if it's true, but you hear, you know, reports of, obviously you saw the reaction of Van Dijk on the pitch yesterday, getting quite angry with Trent, and you hear reports of them not coming to blows, but having to be separated in the dressing room last night, and you know, stewards hearing loud shouting from the dressing room after the game last night, and that sort of tense feeling of, you know, yes, they're going to be angry after a game like that and a performance like that, but I think it's perhaps also that the unknown factor that they have with the contract situation of Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk. You know, are they going to renew? You know, some people might be saying that Trent's heart is already on his way out. You know, Van Dijk, is he leaving? Salah has said he's leaving. And, you know, I think it's mini problems that people are going to pick at. You know, I do still think they're the favourites to win the title, but I think it's perhaps, you know, they were storming the league in November. I think this is perhaps showing that it's not going to be as easy as perhaps we thought it might be for them in November or October. And, you know, the Premier League is the toughest league in the world. They're going to have to fight to win this. I do think they will come out of the other side. It feels wrong to say that because they're not in bad form. They're still playing well. But I do think they will find that purple patch again. And I still believe Liverpool are favourites to win the league.
Okay, well, let's bring someone into this conversation who I'm curious to see what they have to say. Gary Al Smith, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Hi, guys.
Gary. These are the beneficiaries of Dirty December West African branch. Hey, God, I'll see what happens in Ghana this Christmas, man. I'm like, hey, Gary's enjoying, man.
What happened to Ghana?
Hey, have you ever heard about Dirty December?
No.
Oh, man. I mean, I'll leave it to Gary to explain, man. Hey, Dirty December is massive, man. It happens in Nigeria. It happens in Ghana, right? And now they've made it a whole big deal. If you go to Lagos, they actually have this really big signpost written Dirty December. So every Nigerian, Ghanaians who are based abroad, everybody comes back, and it's a whole mixture of both home and away coming together and just lighting up a whole city for a whole duration of that Christmas/New Year. And I was even told that even till this moment in Ghana, they are still partying till 10 a.m. this morning. Like people... oh,
Gary, can you confirm?
Ooh la la.
Well, 30th December is supposed to have ended like this morning/this evening. But tomorrow is a public holiday here, so...
Ooh, so that's
tomorrow
why
is
they
a public
extended
holiday here, so maybe we can extend it to tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But that is December is essentially like an extended version of a Thanksgiving weekend here. Let me just say it was a marketing creation, right? To get all the diaspora people, or it was a coordinated effort to get the diaspora community to come back home, celebrate Christmas and also to get the local economy quite vibrant. So it's essentially a lot of parties, 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 and more parties.
And all these parties is
Start from
mentioned,
about.
they have their. So I will tell you what happens in this part, especially in Lagos.
Is it safe to say on air?
Actually, it's not safe.
Oh,
Now that
yeah,
you've said
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. Huh? No, maybe I don't know about the Ghana one. The Ghana one might be safe, but the Nigerian one I don't think is safe, man. Nah, but okay, no, I'm not gonna say.
Anyway, so that's Dirty December, and it's spelled Detty.
TTY,
Dirty,
yes. It's not dirty like it's DETTY.
not dirty.
Dirty. It's
Dirty December.
That's all right. It's crazy.
Okay.
Like there's no way I'm missing the next one. No,
All
it's
right,
not even
well,
possible.
Gary, you'll have a friend next year, it sounds like. Gary, I know you've been listening along a little bit here, but I have to ask you because the boys have both said, you know, they're not convinced by Liverpool. We're kind of at that halfway mark, so we got to look at our predictions. No one's ruling out City. Obviously, you are our Arsenal fan. How are you feeling about the title run, and do you agree that you're not convinced by Liverpool?
I definitely am ruling out Manchester City out of the top 2.
Wow.
Definitely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
first one to say it.
Yeah. And then apart from that, I am quite convinced that Liverpool are doing enough to win the title. I don't think Arsenal have what it takes to mount a sustained title charge until the season is done. And I'm quite convinced that Liverpool will take it. If Man City win, look, we need to knight Pep Guardiola immediately. He wins, like immediately. They don't need to wait for the New Year. You know what do they call it again? The New Year
New Year's
honors, right?
list.
The New Year honors list. No, we don't need to wait for that. We need to knight him immediately for services to football. So yeah. But I think Liverpool are going to win the title. I don't think we have it in us to mount a sustained title charge. So that's just my thought, really. As much as I would like to, I don't think so.
Well, before we get into Arsenal and their results against Brighton, let's stick with this Liverpool and United game because we have to talk about Mo Salah. Again,
It's not
breaking.
just Mo Salah. We need to also speak about Maguire. We need to speak about Zexi. I think these are
Okay,
really...
we're not done.
Okay, good.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
because there's something going on that conversation there that I feel like I want to clarify.
Oh,
People
you
have
need
been
to.
talking
You
so
need
many
to.
rubbish.
There are some things to be said. Let's take a look at what happened with Mo Salah last week and his decision on whether or not he will be staying at Liverpool.
Yeah, so far, it's the last 6 months. There is nothing, no progress there. Like we're far away from any progress, so we just need to wait and see. I think the thing in my head is like, okay, if that's your last 6 months or last year, what you want to see it in the future? Like you want to look back and say, oh, I was concerned about the contract, or I was stressed, or just you want to say, okay, I had an unbelievable season. So that's in my head now. All the time, like if I feel like kind of distraction, just remind myself, okay, you wanna look back and say, oh, I had unbelievable season. So that's what I want to do.
All right, so this is the end for Mo Salah, Alex.
Yeah.
But as we know, after this Manchester United match, he is now 7th all-time scorer in the Premier League, tied with Thierry Henry, yet another record broken. And even though he wasn't as clinical maybe yesterday as we would have expected him to be.
So did you say 7th?
7th all-time goal scorer in the
But
Prem.
let's be sincere, though. When did 7th start being something to celebrate, though?
I think it's because he's now tied with Thierry Henry. And if we think about Thierry Henry and what he did in the Premier League and what he meant to football, he's leveled with him. So I think the comparison is
Like
that.
in goals?
In goals all time. And also, here are his stats here. I mean, 707, where am I getting that? 376 games played, 232 goals and 105 assists. Like the numbers are pretty.
Believable.
Yeah, the numbers are outstanding. And to be doing this after a season where last season he did dip and he's managed to come back. And I mean, if anything right now, I'd say he's the top, he's the leader for the next Ballon d'Or. Many months to decide, don't get me wrong. But as of right now, I think it would be him who would be getting it. So I think, we have to just give him credit, but it's also the end of an era.
Are we speaking about Ballon d'Or now just by what you've done in your league?
No, I'd consider everything.
No, I'm just saying.
But the Ballon d'Or is from this season.
That's what she's saying so far.
Yeah,
that's what she's saying so far.
The thing is, the only tournament that we have this season for the men, at least, will be the FIFA Club World Cup, because AFCON will be next December, so that won't be counted. So,
it's fair to say he's been the best player in the world this season.
Not really.
No? Who would you say above him?
A lot.
Who?
A lot.
You could give me a name.
But a lot is a name. But let's be sincere though. Yeah, I understand that Mo Salah is being one of the best facts. But calling him the best.
On form, I'm saying this season he's been the best player in the world.
But are you seeing it based on the amount of goals he scored though? Or are you talking about in game? Because is he the highest goal scorer in the Premier League right now?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 ahead of Haaland.
Okay.
He's the best player in the world.
Okay. I might accept that maybe, but I don't think, or I would even say that football has dropped. How would I put it? So,
Clinton, it seems like you have a name or two in mind. Just tell us who those names are.
I think that name has something.
No,
it's
clear. Like, look, if we look at your face, if it looks like, if we look at your face. It looks like,
listen, yes,
I can see like a name like written there, but I can't see it.
I will tell you the name. I will tell you the name. I'm not going to hide it, and I'll say it clear, right? I will still choose, and this is not because I did an interview, or this is not because it's Nigerian, but I'm telling you, I will still take an Ademola Lookman right now over any winger in the world as we speak.
Oh, that's long, because Rafinha is definitely.
Yeah, I'm still not going to take Rafinha over Lookman. And let me tell you why I would take Lookman. And it was only because of the performance he had against Real Madrid, right? Now, that game, we saw that everybody let him down. But he was the one person that carried that team that day. And they could have won it if somebody used their brain. But guess what? If we put Mo Salah by himself to say, yo, carry Liverpool, the question is, can you do it? Listen, this is my sentiment here.
Oh,
when I'm grading, hold on. Gary, hold on.
When times this season.
Sorry?
He's done it a few times this season.
I don't think he's done it a few times this season. Like, I'm talking, listen, there are levels to this thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
And when I say level, I'm talking about this one that's like proper obvious. When you look at Liverpool, I'm not trying to say that Mo Salah, he does his job. But you will still see somebody like maybe Van Dijk being a wall of Jericho. You will still see somebody like maybe Cody Gakpo doing some. I mean, these are players you know. But when it comes to, when I watched that game against Real Madrid, we just felt like, hang on, what is going on with Atalanta? But there was only one man whom everybody saw that this man was just doing. In fact, the moment they switched his position, everybody could also see that everything changed. Like, there was nothing. And then he came back again.
That's just one game. I mean, as high profile a game as it was.
No, that's the one game the whole world watched. Come on, this is what he does in and out in Atalanta, man. Come on, man. Why?
Alex has a famous stat that he keeps going back to. Sorry, Gary, in that if this was like maybe mid-November, so it's definitely changed. But if Liverpool didn't have Salah and his goal contribution, so that's assists and goals, they would have been 13th. Now, I don't know if you have an updated.
No, I don't.
But
I also do.
Yeah, go.
If you take away Lookman's goals, if you take away Salah's goals in the Champions League and Cup competitions, he's still got more goals than Lookman. In fact, he's still got 7 more goals than.
You see, this is coming back to my problem that I think people tend not to understand about
he's still got
these days. No, hold on. Listen, Alex, right? My problem with a lot of you is, and I don't know which player they were interviewing, and he was saying that these days, one person can score 20 penalties, and all of a sudden it becomes... I think it was Ronaldo. I don't know. I don't remember which person was. You guys just go in to look at goals and assists.
No, hold on, let me finish. 11 more assists.
No, hold on. Sorry, Gary, what did you say?
I'm saying it's certainly not Ronaldo, the king of penalties. Like it's
No,
certainly
I
not
don't
him
know.
who said
Yeah, I
that.
mean, I can't remember who said it. But for me, right, the way I grade my football is way different from how a lot of us see it. Because the moment you mention a player, the first thing somebody's going to check is how many goals this person scored. If we're going to grade by that, we'll say that Haaland is probably one of the greatest footballers on earth. Why? Because every single penalty, he's just scoring some kind. But is he really the player that you can decide to say, Gary, lift my team and take my team to the promised land? Of course not. He is not.
I agree with you though, because
I
I
could,
think
but
like
I
I
could
look at.
debate you. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like,
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
also
Sarah.
somebody that watches, like, the way a player plays, and
Yeah.
it's not just about goals, but that's why I think also assists are so important, because they're contributing. Like,
Yes.
when we talked about, like, Lamine Yamal at the Euros, this guy was crucial to the team because he wasn't scoring the goals, but he was creating everything. But Salah has 13 assists as well on top of 18 goals. Also, fun fact for all of you at home, Victor Osimhen has more goals than Ademola Lookman this season.
Listen, you just said, you guys have just proven my point again. What did you mention again? It's goal. It's goal. Okay, I give an example. The very crazy good example now. Yeah, everybody has been bashing the latest signing for Real Madrid. Oh, he's been rubbish. It's not been the Mbappe we know. He's not been that. But how many of you remember that this same person has had more goals than some of the highest goal scorers in some of the mid-table leagues in England? Say, for example, Nicholas. I don't know about Nicholas Jackson right now, but Mbappe has goals. But people felt like this man has been rubbish for Real Madrid since he's been signed.
But if you're saying potentially Lookman is having, would you agree with me when I say Lookman is having one of the best seasons of his career?
Absolutely.
Mbappe still scored more goals than him this season.
No, but it's not. Listen, remember also what I also said to you guys here. Yeah?
He's not basing it
I
on
said
goals.
it's not the same. This is where you come into the next argument. It's not the same team. If you bring an Ademola Lookman into Real Madrid, what do you think would be the result of him being Ademola Lookman? If you brought in Ademola Lookman to Liverpool right now, what do you think his numbers would be?
I mean, I think he'd do well.
But this is fact. But we're not going to compare a Real Madrid and Mbappe in Real Madrid to an Ademola Lookman in this Atalanta.
Now we're having a theoretical conversation. If. We can all have our opinions. We need to move on. Clinton, you want to talk about some Manchester United players, so let's speak about that, because then we do have to talk about some other teams maybe in the Prem, because this is now becoming the Liverpool and Manchester United show. Clinton, you brought up Harry Maguire, signed a 1-year extension. I'm sure you're really happy about that one. And
Sorry, say that again.
Harry Maguire was a player that you brought up, and I just said he did do. They have a 1-year extension with him, so he's going to be yours for a long time.
No, but you understand that something about this guy is he I don't know. I feel like his dad is a shareholder with Manchester United.
But defensively, I think he was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday.
Listen, Harry Maguire is a good defender. Let's not even cap this whole thing. I just feel like he has more bad times going on with him in the Premier League. Obviously not.
The bad times are worse than the good times. The bad times are so bad that you remember them.
But I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism where perhaps you look at players like Lissandro Martinez, who have been...
I said he was bad at the top of the show.
Pretty awful. I look at Matthias de Ligt, he's been disappointing. Lenny Yoro, I think he's been injured. I think it's unfair to compare him to the others. But Harry Maguire, and yes, I know he had the armband and it's now with Bruno Fernandes. I look at especially the Wolves game where Bruno Fernandes got sent off. I'd much rather have someone like Harry Maguire captaining my side as a Manchester United fan, if I was one, than, say, Bruno Fernandes. I think the way that he carries himself on the pitch, he's a leader in that defence. Yes, he missed that chance at the end. It was difficult, probably would have been offside, but he's a good defender and he's a good leader.
There's one thing I'll tell you about Maguire that I really appreciate from where he is, irrespective of how bad he is on the pitch sometimes, right? But it's the fact, listen, you cannot count a lot of players that will go through what Harry Maguire has been through and still stand as a footballer. There are people who would literally go hang themselves on a tree. This guy has been through the worst things any player would go. And I mean, you can't blame the fans. He's not giving them the performance that they wish he had. He makes one of the most serious mistakes on the pitch, right? But the fact that he still is able to still come out as Harry Maguire to say, no, listen, I still believe myself. Now, let's come down to the reason I want to speak about him. And this is the most spoken about conversation since the game between Liverpool and Manchester United. It was 2-2, and then there was this ball that I don't know who gave that pass to Zexi. I don't know if it was Bruno. Was he Bruno Fernandes? I can't remember.
It was
Who gave the pass from behind?
Xerxes was in line.
Yeah.
No, and then Zexi got the ball, and then he gave the pass to Harry Maguire to score. And Harry Maguire, being a defender that he is, wanting to remind everybody who he is as well, he sent the ball to his mom.
To be fair, the ball did bobble before it got to him.
To be fair, what we need to say is Xerxes was offside. It would never have counted. But if you are a player, you hammer that in 10 out of 10 times. Clinton, your youngest son would have scored that goal.
Hold on. No, let me tell you this, right? For me, I'm not going to blame Zexi for what he did.
I'm not blaming Xerxes.
No, because everybody feels like...
No, but Xerxes was offside. The thing is, even if they scored it, it would have been taken back because he was just slightly offside.
Okay, I didn't. I mean, let's imagine that he wasn't offside. Because
this is why.
Because I didn't even know it was offside.
Let's imagine Manchester United won.
Hold on. But actually, I'm just hearing that it was off from you. Because all the conversations, people are like, wow, Manchester United could have won the game. But nobody have said, no, if the goal had gone in, it was offside. Nope, I've not even seen anyone pundit from anywhere that have said what you've just said.
It looked offside to me.
Yeah, okay, so it looks to you. But is there anything on any of the sports or whatever?
Well, they never checked it because it never went in and they didn't need to.
Okay. But now, this is just your judgment. It would have been off. But right now, so far, the game ended. There was no offside. It was just a miss, right? People said, oh, man, Zexi is meant to be a striker. The striker instinct should have, take it, just hit the shot, get us the winner goal. But for me, I felt like Zexi only just played like a footballer, though. If the ball came to him, if you look at how everything went on, I wish it could come on our screen. He looked up. He saw somebody who looks like a teammate. And he gave him the best pass anybody would ever pray for. And Harry Maguire, being a defender, took the ball and defended it against the team he shouldn't be defending against. Or defending for, I don't know how to put it now. And then everybody's like, oh, man, the problem here is Zexi, man. Zexi should have just... How can a striker not think about such a killer instinct? Why is he not scoring the goal? But the area people are not thinking about is, if he had tried to take that shot and he didn't score, what do you think the conversation would have been now? They would have been saying, what kind of stupid player is this? There was somebody clearly waiting for him to just get the ball for him to score. And he tried to score, and now he's missed. So what's the issue with that? Listen, I don't see anything wrong with what Zexi did there.
I don't think anything was wrong.
He just wanted a clean goal.
That position, but I don't think he played well outside of that.
No, I mean, forget about whatever he did. Forget about whatever. It's just that moment there.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that one. I think Harry Maguire needs to sort himself out, but I think Xerxes didn't have a good game, and I'm not blaming it for that. I think if you're a smart footballer, you pass that ball every single time because that player should tap it in.
Yes.
It should be easy. That's not why people should be mad at Xerxes. They should be mad at Xerxes because he didn't play well. And between him and Rasmus Højlund, you have a very big problem up front. As a Manchester United fan, there's a January transfer window. Do you go after a proper Victor Osimhen?
I pray.
You pray?
I pray. No, because fact is, now, don't get me wrong, yeah? I still feel like Højlund is not really a bad striker. He's just playing under a team that are not giving him the kind of service. As a matter of fact, there's actually a stat online on the Premier League. They say that Højlund is the most less served striker in the Premier League.
He served the least.
He's the one getting the least service.
Okay.
In the Premier League. What
so
does that
maybe
tell
some
you?
wingers.
Well, exactly. So it's to tell you that two things we have in Manchester United. The wingers are not doing their job. The midfielders are not doing their job. Because the strikers need to be fed. They are living off these people. Okay? Now, imagine Haaland playing for Manchester United. And then you are getting this kind of statistics to say, you are the least striker that gets... Sorry, you are the striker that gets the least service in a game, right? What does that tell you? It means that today, Haaland will be nobody. Just the same way we have Højlund. They are not doing the job. They are not getting the ball into the 18-yard box. You can tell that Højlund is sharp. He is fast. He has the body. He can hold the ball. But the service is not coming. Zexi, on the other hand, like I said, he should go into modeling. Because fact is, every single thing I've seen him do on that pitch, as Zexi, I feel like Manchester United is not the right team for him. To me, he's too sluggish for Manchester United. He still has that kind of I'm a very pretty girl, and, there are some kind of guys I go out with. There's some kind of boy you should pass to me. Like, this is the vibe I get from Zexi. Do you understand? But for Højlund, it's there. But the problem is, why is our midfield? Amad Diallo, you can clearly tell that this guy is a machine. When it comes to anybody who's doing the job in that wing, it's Amad Diallo, right? Marcus Rashford, obviously, right now, I think he's probably going to go into properties now, right? What's his name? Garnacho. Garnacho, honestly, if I was Garnacho, I would go concentrate on my family for now, because I feel like this guy is thinking, he can't even take on one player.
Yeah.
He can't even successfully dribble one. Like, just run past somebody. He keeps running into people. You see, so how do you expect the like of Højlund to get services to score? That's the problem.
That's the problem. All right, we have to move on because we've spoken about this game for most of the show. Well, Gary, let's talk a little bit about Arsenal and Brighton, because as Liverpool dropped points and as Chelsea dropped points, unfortunately, so did Arsenal. Now, you said actually when I asked you about who's going to win the Premier League, you said Arsenal isn't good enough. And I'm assuming that also has a little bit to do with this match. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I think we are lacking the cutting edge, the killer instinct that is required to win at this level at the moment. And I'm not sure how we are going to get it. And I don't think that Liverpool are in the mood to wait around for us to get that cutting edge. They are raking in the points. They are scraping the points in one at a time when we are losing games, when we are drawing games. The capitulation of Chelsea has been a very welcome bit of news for us. Thank you, Chelsea. Liverpool do not look like they want to do that. And Arsenal look like there are a few more games that will, there'll be an excuse about the penalty or about the days or about that. But bottom line, we do not have the requisite amount of ruthlessness required to beat a side like Liverpool, who are in this mood with the sort of players they have and the consistency with which they are winning games and getting points off the board. So essentially it's that. Definitely pleasantly surprised if we're able to win, but yeah, there we go.
I just have a question, though, because when we look at this Arsenal team, I think we have seen them drop points, maybe when they shouldn't be, when they could, take advantage of this Chelsea situation. But Arsenal have the same amount of points they did at this point last season that they do this season, okay? They have had injuries to their best players in Saka and Odegaard. Ben White's been injured. They got rid of Emile Smith-Rowe. We also have a Liverpool performing that we didn't have last season, that Arsenal didn't have to deal with. Yes, there was Man City, but they're still second in the Prem. They're, top 4 in Champions League. And they've also been very unlucky when it comes to decisions made by VAR and the ref. I think we can all say that, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not. So are we, what I'm just trying to think is that, are we overlooking that a little bit in Arsenal, Alex? And that, they're not playing bad. Yes, they could have maybe taken advantage of this, but, they could still win something. I don't know if it's whether the Prem or the FA Cup or the Champions League, but I don't think we can say that they're playing badly.
I think the big thing is, for me, with Arsenal, is you take out Saka and Odegaard and you see a big hole. It's good to see that they're starting to have some more faith in Ranieri, because, previously it was Sterling or no one else, really.
Was there any time they looked at Sterling, though, for Arsenal?
I mean, he's been disappointing this season. I think he's come on in parts, and I think he's tried to play a bit part role in replacing Saka. But I think players, it's not so much, yes, they're at the same stage they were last season, but it's, I think, how far ahead they could be at this stage. You look at the games that they've played: Fulham, draw; Brighton, draw. These are games that, if you want to be considered as good as perhaps Man City have been in the last 6 or 7 seasons, you should be winning those games comfortably. And, yes, Fulham and Brighton are good sides, but I think when you look at the firepower in that squad, you take out Saka and Odegaard, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Trossard, Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus to bag me, 2 or 3 goals a week. I know that, there are good players in there, but it doesn't fill me with confidence. The same with the midfield. Declan Rice is a good player, but alongside Mikel Merino and Jorginho, it's not exactly a midfield that I see, and I think that's a really threatening midfield. And I think it's perhaps where, Arsenal have seen how they've done over the last 2 years. Yes, they've recruited really well with Edu, and, they've brought in some really good players, but I think they perhaps have, they've fallen short in some areas of recruitment. And I think when you look at the striking department as well, Havertz, yes, he has done a job occasionally, and he's played well, I think, for the large part of the last sort of 18 months. But you look at his replacements, Gabriel Jesus has been far short of the mark. And, they're to sell some players in the summer, and I feel like they haven't brought in the necessary replacements to improve enough to challenge with, Liverpool, or would it have been City if they'd not had that collapse in form. But yeah, I think definitely some areas that Arsenal need to look at. I think we need to sign some players in that area, in those areas, before they consider themselves title challengers.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit more Arsenal on tomorrow's show, because Arsenal are taking on Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. Let's move along to Chelsea. Clinton, what's happened to Chelsea? 4 games and no wins. Alex, we'll get to you as our resident Chelsea fan, but let's see. Because, because Clinton, you also love Chelsea very much. So 4 wins with 4 matches without a win, pardon me, with draws to Everton and Crystal Palace and losses to Fulham and Ipswich. I know I hear Alex already talking about Axel Disasi in my ear. But Clinton, what do you think is going on? Is this just a blip? Is this a matter of all the games they're playing and you can't win every single one? Is this a problem with Nicholas Jackson? Tell me, what are you thinking?
Now, for me, I feel like it's the same syndrome we're going to give to Manchester United as well. Fact is, Chelsea, it's not like they're not a good team. It's not like they've not risen so far this season. It's only because of the fact, I think it's a mentality thing, right? They go into a game, especially with teams like Ipswich. Like, could you imagine Ipswich, though? How do you face some of the greatest teams in the Premier League? You go in, you put up a game, you beat them, and then Ipswich. Like, in fact, the switch was not even on. That's a team that they are literally, their switch is never on this season so far, right? And then you come in, they beat a whole Chelsea. Now, for me, that's just Chelsea being Chelsea, all right? Chelsea is that team that you cannot really bank on. Is that team that's like that woman you are in a relationship. Wherever she goes to, you have to put a CCTV camera on her, because some guy is going to bank her in the toilet, like somewhere. Right, I don't know.
What?
No, but that's Chelsea.
Happening?
No, but that's Chelsea, though. Anybody could, if Ipswich is going to bank Chelsea, who cannot bank Chelsea?
Gary, come and get your friend.
Jesus Christ, no, but for you, though. So, I'm not.
This is a family show.
Nah, but that's why I use the word, right? Everybody,
All right.
But, no, but true, though. Why are we surprised about Chelsea? Like, I'm not surprised. I was proud of Chelsea the whole of this season to say, yeah, they've risen up, with the whole introduction of Enzo Maresca, taking this team to the promised land, doing everything. But, this is not new to me. Sometimes Chelsea will switch off, especially if you're playing with a game against a team like Ipswich and Everton and all of this. Like, come on, it's Chelsea being Chelsea. They underrate these smaller teams. Go there, and these smaller teams, they overrate. They go there and they see like this is a big team I want to play against, and they buckle up. And Chelsea, they switch off, and that's what happens.
Really quickly, we have another goal from Arda Güler. It's 5-0 Real Madrid, but Lautaro Martinez was able to give Inter a 1-0 lead as that game heads into halftime. So 1-0 for Inter. Alex, we're wrapping up here, but if it was a perfect holiday season and Santa was good for you, what would your dream be for Chelsea in the January transfer window?
I'm asking for a lot here. I've got quite a long list. 2 more centre-backs, another goalkeeper, maybe a replacement / backup winger either side, just to give a bit more depth. But I think the 2 centre-back positions, maybe right back, Reece James's fitness not being the most reliable. But I think centre-back and goalkeeper are the areas that Chelsea need to improve on. You look at Leicester last season, they had a similar dip in form around February, so a little bit later. So, yeah, I think it's just a dip in form for Chelsea and they will come back again, but still top 4.
All right. Well, that is it for us today, guys. A bit of a chaotic one as we came in with a lot of time off. There's a lot going on in football, but don't worry, we will get to all of it this week. We're back again tomorrow previewing Arsenal and Newcastle. We'll talk about Real Madrid and their massive win. We have Carabao Cup this week. Barcelona's taking on Athletic Bilbao. There's so much going on, so there's no need to worry because there is plenty of football. But it's been a pleasure to see you all again. Gary, it's been a pleasure to see you. Back again tomorrow, guys. And as always, enjoy the football.
First one of the year. Boo!
Gol.